Marissa King. I'm the Family Life Pastor here at Life Community in Kirkland, and we're doing a whole series through our YouTube channel on my story. So different people are going to be doing their stories, and so I guess it's my turn. So I am from Eastern Washington in a really tiny town called Clarkston. The town is known specifically for the fact that its mascot is a fighting chicken, which should kind of tell you of the background I grew up in. I have 2 sisters, and I am married to an awesome guy named Brad. We have 3 animals, a dog and 2 cats. And it's been a really interesting journey. I never expected that I would end up being a pastor, to be honest. I just really liked hanging out with kids, and I grew up in the church, and my mother, who was pretty amazing, ended up kind of recruiting me to help for things. So it started way back when I was about 15, and I went to church all the time, and I enjoyed hanging out with my friends. But it became one of these things that I ended up having to claim for myself. When I was 15, I remember being in school, and there was a girl, and she had ended up asking me about Jesus. She knew I went to church, and it was really difficult because for me, I didn't want to be kind of the outcast. And so I specifically remember her asking me, and I didn't tell her anything. It was this defining moment for me, because there comes a point in your life where you need to be able to own your faith. And I remember a few days later, I'd come to the conclusion we had found out that she had committed suicide. And granted, this was not my fault, but I had had an opportunity to share with her something that was huge and such a big impact in my life, and I didn't. And so my faith really became a big thing for me from that point on. I was about 15 at the time. And so from that point on, me and Jesus became pretty tight. I started going to church. I started looking into the Bible. I wanted my life to reflect the God that I served on Sunday. So as I started to do that, I saw things change in my life with my friends, with my family. And as I started to do that, I ended up feeling like God had asked me to go into ministry. I originally started at Northwest University in Kirkland, and I became a children's pastor right away. That was a really good growing time, and I learned a lot of what I like to do. And then I stepped away from that for a while and got to spend time in teaching and figuring out how to work with other kids in different ages. And then God opened this awesome door with Life Community Church, and I have been super blessed to be with you guys. I love being with the youth. They always make me laugh, and they are crazy, and we always have a really good time. I love being with the kids. They are creative and help me understand things, and I love that I'm able to incorporate this faith that has become such a huge thing in my life. It wasn't my parents anymore. This has become something that meant a lot to me, because you have to have a relationship with Jesus. So a few years back, my mother passed away from cancer. She'd been battling it for 4 years. And I specifically can remember thinking to myself, God, where were you? This was another defining moment for me. My husband was like, nope, we're still going to pray. We're still going to keep connected with church. And it was a huge deal. Because see, once you get out of church and you choose to walk away from something, you are disconnected. You're all by yourself. So for me, this was another moment in time where I had to make a choice. Do I stay connected with this God that I knew really loved me, even though my life was kind of falling apart? Or do I walk away because I was angry and bitter? And in the end, I ended up choosing to stay, and I'm really glad. I mean, it didn't mean I was over my stuff, but this was another moment in my life that I found God totally speak to me through other people, through incidents in our life. And I came out feeling like I grew stronger through all of it. It wasn't easy. And the thing is, I feel like God gives us opportunities in our life where He reaches His hand out to us and says, okay, trust me. And trust is so hard. I feel like that's been my thing this year, is learning how to trust. And it's hard because you can't see who God is, but as I continually follow what He wants for me, I can see Him guide my life, just like I know He'll guide yours. It's been a fun journey, and I'm still figuring it out, just like you guys, because everybody's on a journey. And in the process, I'm just really enjoying getting to know others and being part of this great community and having fellowship. So I feel very lucky to have a relationship with God in a way that is really real and authentic to me. And I hope as you continue to learn and watch these stories, you'll begin to discover your relationship with Him too on a personal level. Not because I do it or anybody else, but because it's something that you want to connect with God. because that's when it'll become real for you.